boy. Episode 124. I got a crazy story about my stereo. Come on in. Welcome. Happy Monday, everybody. Episode 124. All right. Take the reins of the horse and ride. Turn this down. All right, folks. What's up? Cardone here. Episode 124. This is Evening Hour Live. Let me know if I'm sounding clear. You're probably wondering why the music was different at the beginning. I'll tell you. Crazy story. But for anybody new, come on in. It's a chatty group, so please look at the chats. We got William, Ruby, Dan, Jason, Alex. I think Cassandra's in here. Thank you, Dan. One of my favorite bands. Cocksparrer. Yeah, so I have a lot to say. I've got some movie reviews, book reviews, and then I have something, a piece, a little existentialistic suffering essay I'd like to read. Fallon in the house. Cheers, Fallon. How are you? I'm planning on making a trip to Poughkeepsie very soon. I'll let you all know. Yeah. So, I have... Oh, by the way. It's a show that is... I only need 40 more people, and I hit the miracle 1,000 subscribers, which is not easy to do. So please, I first of all, everybody that's been on this show since I started, I really do thank you. It's helped immensely, your support. So once I hit 40 more, we hit 1,000. I'm going to get an email, and hopefully the algorithm changes. When that happens, I'm going to do a crazy giveaway. We're going to have some prizes. I'm going to be giving away some of my Satanic playing cards, which are done and in the mail. Now, I'm the guy shipping everything. I'm doing it by hand. It's going. I'm about a third through. By the end of the week, I'll be halfway through. By next week, I should be pretty close to finishing. Ooh, what's this? What does that say? Metamorphosis by Ovid. Ovid's book. I haven't read it. I will read that. That's on my list. Oh yeah, Dan P. What's up? Mahiga. Anywho, so there's going to be some crazy giveaways, so we're getting close. So, before I go any farther, the reason why the music was different today is I have an old school stereo. I have a big old REC receiver that if you buy a new one now of its equivalent, its specs, you're looking at $1,500 at least. So I have an old one. I've had it for years. I forget where I got it. I didn't pay for it. Someone gave it to me. And I also have a lot of speakers hooked into it. And I have my TV, my record player, my tape deck, and my CD player all running through this thing. And I have 6 really large speakers. I mean, I have a stereo that will blow your head off. Well, it died. And so I'm in the process of getting a new one. I don't know if I'm going to fix the old one or buy a new one. I don't know. I need power. And I'm picky. So, that's why the music's different. It might take a week or two. I'm going nuts. I can't listen to records right now. I literally am losing my mind. Other thing, anybody that's got arthritis pain, this little gadget has done wonders. I've had it for a week now. I wear it as much as I can. When I take it off, it still feels good. So anybody that has thumb arthritis, you thumbers from texting, mine's from bass playing and doing magic. Check it out. There's a thumb brace. You can get it on Amazon. I forget what it's called. But if you look up thumb brace arthritis, you'll see a plastic one that's very expensive. All the other ones are like $20, and they're like a cloth Velcro thing that wraps. This is hard plastic, but it's small and it really works. It's about a $120 gadget. To take the pain away, it's great. Oh, there you go. Oh, wow. So you have an old Pioneer. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I love those. That's the good stuff. Pioneer has one they put out in 1980. I think it's called the Pioneer 1980. That is a holy grail stereo. Unfortunately, they're about $5,000. Hey, Mama in the house. What's up, Mama? Dealing with the heat? We got a hot day here, folks. A hot week. So that's that. Let's keep moving. I got a lot to do tonight. Anybody see the Munsters trailer? I don't know what to say. It looks pretty terrible. The colors look bad. Everything looks bad. The colors, the directing, the dialogue, the line readings. I don't know why they're if you're gonna make a Munsters quote remake. The thing that made the old one great were the actors. Really. The vision was very simple, but the actors made it work. I prefer the Heat too. Yeah, it looks horrible, Jason. It really does. It looks pretty bad. I'm not a movie director, but let's just say they said, hey, you get to direct the Munsters. Well, first of all, I would need a reason to retell the story. So I would look at it like, okay, so for a modern audience, what would I do? I would take the Munsters and hold a magnifying glass to it and amplify it. So however crazy it was, I would up the ante. Like, for instance, this was the classic monsters in a suburban setting, right? So why not make it the new classic monsters in a suburban setting? Like a Freddy and a Jason and a Leatherface or something like that, and make that the new monsters, and leave alone those classic characters. The Universal monsters redone today, it doesn't work. So, I don't know. Well, yeah, The Hills Have Eyes was a good remake because it was a serious story. So, another one that maybe you could do is, what if you did the Munsters but made it serious and actually scary? Sounds hard to do, right? But it means, it would make me want to watch it. If you came to me and said, dude, there's a Munsters remake, and I would be like, yeah, well, that sounds dumb. And they'd be like, no, but it's not funny. It's dead serious and actually scary. Now you have my attention. That green-colored skin, I mean, the way they made him bright green, and even the graphics look like mid-90s video graphics, which maybe that's the theme. I don't know. It looks bad. It doesn't even look ironically bad. It looks just bad. It looks as bad as the Danzig movie. And I'm a Danzig fan, and I'm telling you, that movie was unwatchable. Boring. On a side note, I did see the Elvis movie and love it. I loved it. I really did. I like him as an actor, the guy that plays Elvis. I think Tom Hanks did a good job. I think the directing was good. Here's one of the things I'll say that blew my mind. If you told me they were making an Elvis movie, I would for sure guess that they would put all the anecdotes. You know, Elvis liking peanut butter and banana sandwiches, Elvis buying cars for everybody. But they didn't. They didn't rely on cheap tricks to catch your attention. They focused on his drive. And they focused on making these characters, because there are other people playing these parts, they focused on making them real, breathing humans. With a sensitivity to the real people that, to me, was beautiful. And so, if you haven't seen the new Elvis movie, I don't recommend many movies. I really did like it, and I do want to see it again. Now, Dan said Creature from the Black Lagoon would be a great remake. Well, listen to this, Dan. There's never been any remake of that movie, ever. The closest monster to that would be, there was a creature in Monster Squad that was similar. I love Humanoids from the Deep. Love the movie. But yeah, imagine a really brutal, scary version of Creature with like you said, really good underwater scenes. You know, great idea. And you know, it was on the plan, but that new Mummy movie ruined it. There was some new movie that came out, Jekyll and Hyde, Mummy, something recently I missed. Um, what's a genuine miracle? The Elvis movie, because it really is. The guy playing Elvis, you forget for a second. He really does capture it. It's kind of Rick Sherman. How are you, buddy? Shape of Water was kind of a remake with a new sensibility to it, I guess. I haven't seen it yet. Satanic Cards, I already mentioned. They're getting mailed out. A little slow, but they're getting mailed out. I do 20, 30 a day, and it's not easy. Standing in line at the New York City post office with packages is crazy. Hey, Ruth, how are you? Ruth, you got your cards, eh? Not everybody got them yet, so please be patient. I'm hand doing them. Somebody asked me recently why, when I'm doing them, I handwrite the labels. I do. I handwrite them. Well, I don't know what to say, but I like doing it. I also like getting packages that have handwriting on them. So, yeah. Oh, a good movie in 2022 is a miracle, says Alex. Yeah. Humanoids gave me nightmares too, Fallon. It's cool. Oh, you like Shape of Water. You like my... Thank you. Thank you very much, Ruth. Those cards were a labor of love. I mean, at the end of the day, there was... you know, we did this because we wanted to do it. And it came out great. The magicians are liking it. The card collectors are liking it. They're going to be valuable. If anybody has more than one deck, hide one. Cards like this... $300-$400 a deck, maybe. I don't know. People save them and they go up in value, especially now. I'll see Shape of Water. Oh, you gave them away. Dude, whoever got them is going to love them. They're great presents. They're beautiful. Let me tell you about next week's show, because I'm very excited. I was going to do it tonight, but I'm not. A good friend of mine, Paul Sherman, some of you might know him, sent me a present in the mail. And I'm going to put it on the Handcam. Now, my Handcam is super glitchy right now. And my son, who's also known as Golfwang, or Wolfgang is his real name, who might be watching. If you're watching, what's up, Golfwang? He's my tech director. He needs to come over here and do an overhaul on my setup. I'm powered out now. Here we go. Handcam. Paul Sherman just sent this to me. What you're looking at is something I've wanted for many, many years. I'm going to use the real cam now. It's a little bit more high def. Check this out. I don't know if you can see this. These are Scandinavian fermented fish. I've wanted to try these for many years. Since the day I heard about them, it's been on my list. Paul Sherman sent me a can. Thank you very, very much, Paul Sherman. So the reason why I'm so excited to try these, and you can go look this up, supposedly this food product smells so bad and tastes so bad that it causes people to vomit on just opening the can. And I'm not even talking about eating it. So I'm going to live next week, open the can. I'm gonna do some research on the product itself and do a little overview of what it is. They're fermented fish, aka rotten fish. They're rotting right now in here, and I'm going to open it up and eat it live on camera with some crackers. So, I don't know. I've seen videos of people trying it. People compare it to sewage. No, it's like a herring or something. Surströmming filer. Oscars surströmming filer. And let me check something. I think these are Swedish. I believe this is Swedish. I don't see made in Sweden anywhere. No. It says ingredients. Surströmmarfiler, vatten, salt. That's it. So, here we go. Next week. Come check it out. What? Are you kidding me? Jason just said he saw Marky Ramone trying them today on Instagram. Jason, please tell me what he did. Did he puke? Did he Peter Benedetti? Well, they're not hard to find. You just got to get somebody from over there to mail you one. And I guess he, no, it's not gefilte fish, I don't think. I've had that. It might be shark. I have to look this up. I don't think it's shark. At any rate, I've seen videos of people opening the can and they immediately say, it smells like sewage. It tastes disgusting. I'm going to try it. Ah, Dan. Yeah, Dan. Thank you for coming. Dan P., who's in the house, he's a regular viewer. He's come twice to my regular gig where I live. It's my hometown gig. I roll out of bed and run down the street. You've seen me post videos of it. Wits End. He came to party with us, and we had a great time. Yeah, that was fun. And also, he gave me presents. Oh my gosh, they're in the other room. One of which I can show you, but I have to hide it. It's offensive. It's I'm going to put my hand over it. This is a present from Dan P. It's a portrait of Johnny Ramone in the Sex Pistols, and he's got a swastika on his shirt, which I'm hiding because I will lose my channel if I show it, which is ridiculous. I should be able to show this. I'm not a Nazi. I don't support Nazis. This is a Dee Ramone piece of artwork, and I do support anything in art, anything, including bad symbols. So, thank you, Dan. I love this poster. I like the Sex Pistols. I like Dee Ramone. I like crude punk rock art, and that's what that is. I know it's got a bad thing on it, but it's a symbol that doesn't affect me. But they have rules now that you can't even show this stuff anymore, which is weird. Because what if I want to make a historic... What if I wanted to direct a scene with not what I have to use fake Nazi? It's weird. It's very weird. Anywho. Yeah, dude. Dan, you can come anytime. Yeah, nor you. Exactly. He's not in it. We're not into this stuff, but we do like punk rock art, and sometimes there's, back then, the punk rockers of that era. I mean, I've seen... Joey Ramone would throw the swastika around. Those guys were Jewish, right? And so back then, it was more about causing anger. They knew it made people upset, so they would do it on purpose. To me, you should be allowed to do that. But what is bad? Oh, there's a swastika on it. A big blatant one because Johnny Rotten would wear them. So it's Sid Vicious. They knew it made everybody mad. It was their finger to everybody. The funny thing is that it's not a German symbol. It's a Buddhist symbol that they hijacked. Yeah, Mel Brooks is... Yeah. It's true. It's true. Yeah. So anywho, thank you, Dan. I really appreciate it. He also gave me a Booberry bank. The man knows my tastes. Thank you. I had a great time. Yeah, the swastika is an ancient symbol that the Nazis used because it looks cool, easy to spot. It made sense for them to pick some ancient symbol and throw it up. It's a repurposed thing. So, book review. Book review. I ordered this online. I think I paid $2 for it. Oh, to be bad. I mean, I'm using the word bad in a crude manner. On a philosophical note, it causes people, it makes other people upset. For me, being upset is not a bad, but for other people, I read a great quote the other day. Rick Sherman, if you're on here, post that quote you sent me the other day about being offended, because it's very good. Yeah. Here we go. Albert Camus. Caligula. Now, I read it. I finished it. Caligula is about a quarter or half this book. Yeah, it's like half the book. I bought it, and I literally machine gun read through it. I'm good at reading plays. And I haven't read a play in a major long time. When I was in college, I used to have a stack of plays to read every week. If you go to theater school, you're reading plays all the time. So I got good at trucking through plays. I loved it. I really did. Now, here's why it's interesting. It's Albert Camus had a trilogy of writings that he used to teach his absurdist philosophy, which is an offshoot of the existentialistic movement and whatnot. Oh, here we go. I'm going to get to his quote in a second. Children draw. Yes, and yeah. No, you know. What was I saying about Albert Camus? Oh, his trilogy. So he wrote The Myth of Sisyphus, which I'm literally one chapter away from completing. It's one of the most mind-blowing books I've ever read. He wrote Caligula, and then he wrote The Stranger, which I will read next. Very soon, actually. I'm going to start that. And this, Caligula, is the character teaching the existentialistic philosophy, the absurdism stuff. It's very interesting. There's some really great lines. I would love to play that part one day. I'm too old now to play it. I mean, he's supposed to be about 27, I believe. There are videos of the play online. I watched some of them. I watched the one in English. I didn't like it very much. And then the other ones were in French. So I mean, they seemed cool, but I wanted to see some of the staging of how it was interpreted. Because in the play, some of it's gray. And I'm like, this is where a director would interpret. And I really wanted to see it. I loved it. And there's a quote in there that I'm going to use to open my book that I'm writing now. I've been looking for the most ultimate quote to start the book. And I found it. When I read it, I was like, there it is. Now I'm going to read the quote that my friend Rick Sherman, who's in the house right now, sent to me. And it's in the chat, so you should look at it. Let me never fall into the vulgar mistake of dreaming that I am persecuted whenever I'm contradicted. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Holy shit. Pardon the French. I'll read it again. Let me never fall into the vulgar mistake of dreaming that I am persecuted whenever I am contradicted. By God, I want to tattoo that on my forehead. I'm kidding. But seriously, that needs to be taught as an important thing to think about. Here we go. I have a book that has 3 swastikas on the front called The Science of Travel. Oh, okay. It was before the time of the Nazis. Ah, I see. Oh, you read The Stranger Ruth. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm writing a book, my friends. I've been working on it for a very long time, and now it's getting done. Like, I'm gonna try to finish it by the end of the year. It's been a lot of work. I'm writing a book, and I'm telling everybody what I am working on. I'm working on 2 books actually. I'm working on the second part to this book because I might as well. I was writing an essay, a 400-word essay daily, 5 days a week for a year and a half. And I pulled back. I'm doing 1 a week now, 2 a week. But the rest of those days, I'm now writing full time. Every day I'm writing and writing and writing. And I'm writing a book on the art of cursing. I'm trying to put together the ultimate book on a curse. And what it means, what it is, from an occult magic point of view. Also, from a psychological point of view, from a scientific point of view, from a cultural point of view, a mythological point of view, and from a legal point of view. Yeah, even the legalities of it all. It's a dangerous book. It's not for everybody. It's going to have some nasty stuff in it that people don't like to talk about. It's definitely not written for everybody. It couldn't be. And so you will get to read a very, very detailed look at what I see as occult magic. And I don't use a K when I write the word magic. It's spelled with a G. And you'll hear me talk about it a lot on this show, the gap between real magic and, quote, fake magic. But this book is something I've taken very seriously. I'm not goofing around with it. And I think people are going to enjoy it. Some of my friends, I've farmed out some... I've let, like, Rick Sherman is a good friend of mine who's in here, and he's also a writer. I've let him see some of the essays, and he'll tell you, I think it's going to be fun. I think people are going to like it. There might be a few lighthearted parts in it, and there might be some humor. It has to have some of that, but at the end of the day, it's dead serious. It's the art of the curse. I'll give you a little bit right now. I mean, yeah, written for everybody equals written for nobody. I agree. Does anybody know the legal term or the actual term for a curse? It's a fun word. It's called an imprecatory prayer. It means you're praying to a god or something to harm someone. An imprecatory prayer. And so I'm writing a book on that. Well, if it gets banned, I'll do really well with it. I mean, that's it. I mean, magic isn't too difficult to understand if you haven't read the Satanic Bible more than once. Well, yes and no. I mean, yeah, I mean, he does go into that. I think some of his other essays is where it gets a little more detailed on the inner workings of magic. But yeah, I mean, that book changed my life on how to see this stuff. It was the first time I'd seen the gap bridged between the reality and the fantasy. And so the thing that I have that Anton LaVey didn't have is he didn't work as a full-time professional magician. And so some of the concepts that are in that book, not only have I got to try them out, I've got to try them out on every walk of life, every age, every economic bracket, over and over and over again, sometimes in one night, hundreds of times in a night, as a case study. Really, like, it's shocking how much I've tried out some of the techniques in these books, what I'm writing on. Now, I've met occultists that have written books on this stuff, but even they don't get to do what I get to do. And that is, I get to interact in a manner where I am a magician in a setting where I get to try it out. And so, yeah. Thank you very much, Rick Sherman. And I'm going to be honest, my inspiration for becoming a better writer is you, Rick Sherman. Being honest. Rick Sherman's a good friend of mine who writes really great stuff. I really enjoy your writing. His writings are he writes short stories that are so cinematic when read that they're like, it's like a movie happening in your mind. I love it. I really do. I'm not just saying that because you're my friend. I would never say that if I didn't think so. Thank you, Alex. Well, yeah, the neurobiology and the psychology of what I'm writing about in this curse book is in there. It's a part of it. It has to do with our instincts. A lot of the Mortensen book is part of it too. You know, like what is fear? What does it mean on a very meta level? And so I'm having a blast writing it. It's become pleasurable to write, and that's why I'm able to do it. Before, writing wasn't fun. Now it is. I think it's time to jump into my subject tonight. I'm going to read something that I'm going to put glasses on and read an essay. So get your drinks and your coffee or what you're drinking. I'm drinking water. I want to read this essay. I noticed my title tonight of the show is Punk Rock Suffering. I almost thought I misspelled it. Surfing. Punk Rock Suffering and Other Epic Tales. My other epic tales, I'll actually start with that right now and get it out of the way because it's not that epic. Um, no, my band's right now. I've been very busy playing music. I love it. This is one of the busiest years I've ever had playing music. Toilet Boys were busy in the fall. We're playing again this Saturday at Bowery Ballroom to honor Howie Pyro, the bass player for Degeneration and Danzig. He's a good friend of mine. He's been a good friend of the band's. He's a toy collector, monster kid. He passed away. We knew he was sick and dying. He had liver cancer, and he had a liver transplant. We did a fundraiser, and then he croaked. But he will live on. I mean, his legacy is... Let me tell you the show. So we're playing at the show. But also, Degeneration's playing. And they're going to have guest singers. And they got HR from Bad Brains. They have Jimmy G from Murphy's Law. One of the guys from Sheer Terror. I mean, it's an all-star show. Lunachicks, Theo singing. Who else? I don't know who else is going to show up, but it's going to be really cool. And we're also playing Chicago, October 22nd or 23rd. Oh my God. We're playing at Reggie's, which I hear is great. So I've never played there. We're playing Chicago at Reggie's, October 22, I believe. So that's wonderful that my band that's been around for 25 years is still playing. We have Paris Mayhew from the Cro-Mags and Agros playing in my band, which is a true honor. He's an amazing guitar player. And we have my band Rambones is starting to do well too. We have many shows booked. We've been playing. Yeah, Moon Beach. Yeah, my beaches. Thank you, Daryl. How are you, Daryl? Cheers. So that's out of the way. That was my epic tale. I just wanted to tell you about that show. It's going to be an epic show, all-star rock and roll show. I'm honored to be a part of any of this stuff, really. Even though I get to be a part of it and play with these greats and share the stage, and I have for the last 25 years, I will forever be a fan and humbled by the experience. True. So, cheers and thanks for the support, everybody. All right. So this essay to me hit me hard. It said something I never knew how to say. When I read it, I was like, I didn't know what to say after it, and you'll see why. I got a little choked up reading it, actually. It's something. It's funny. I'm a fan of pride. If people don't have pride, they don't have a self. But as a lot of the people watching this show know, counterproductive pride is bad. It's a magnifying glass to the world of your bad qualities, usually. And it's your ego. If your ego needs stroked and your counterproductive pride pops out, usually it's going to backfire. So I'm very proud of my accomplishments and what I do, but I'm constantly paying attention to my pride. And this was really interesting, what I read, and it deals a little bit with pride, and how and what it means to get rid of it. But it's about suffering. Yeah, pride is inherent to the human animal. It truly is. It's part of our deal, and we just have to learn how to use it and pay attention to it, and then make sure that our instincts aren't involved on some of it, and pay attention. Thank you, Ruth, very much. Yeah, hit that like and subscribe. Now, I'm going to read this, and I might stop a few times. Who translated this? This is the John McFarland Kennedy translation. And I don't know when he translated it. The translations of Nietzsche mean something, so if you're going to read him, please find a good translation. Pro pride here. The essay. All right, so the book I'm reading from is The Dawn of Day by Friedrich Nietzsche. And I'm on aphorism 114. So far, I've been loving this book. This book is one of the densest ones of his I've read. I mean, Beyond Good and Evil is dense, but this is really dense. Okay. Here we go. Test one. Wow, okay. I fixed it. Wow, I'm having a lot of little problems. I was getting panicked there. Hey, Vic Chavez. What's up, buddy? Didn't know you were in there. I love seeing cool people in here. Okay, yeah. Ruth's like, no sound. Okay. Forget what I was saying. Oh, I was raising a glass. I was saying two of my favorite actors died. Dude, Tony Sirico died from Sopranos. I love the guy. I really liked him, and I'm getting his hair color. I'm getting the gray on the sides. I think he's amazing, and I really like James Caan. He's the greatest Jewish American guy who played the greatest Italian characters of all time. I mean, really, the guy was amazing. I love him in Bottle Rockets, obviously The Godfather. Cheers to these guys. All right, let's read this damn essay. Here we go. The Dawn of Day, Friedrich Nietzsche, aphorism 114, called On the Knowledge of the Sufferer. I'm starting over. Okay, here we go. I'm not going to bump anything. Here we go. And I'm going to read. Normally, I went to Carnegie Mellon for theater, right? So I know how to read and look at the camera and do the whole thing. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to read, okay? You still miss Meatloaf. Oh, that's cute. All right, here we go. On the Knowledge of the Sufferer. This, to me, is some of the coolest stuff ever. The state of sick men who have suffered long and terribly from the torture inflicted upon them by their illness, and whose reason has nevertheless not been in any way affected, is not without a certain amount of value in our search for knowledge. Okay. Quite apart from the intellectual benefits which follow upon every profound solitude and every sudden and justified liberation from duties and habits. The man who suffers severely looks forth with terrible calmness from his state of suffering upon outside things. All those little lying enchantments by which things are usually surrounded when seen through the eye of a healthy person have vanished from the sufferer. His own life even lies there before him, stripped of all bloom and color. If by chance it has happened that up to then he has lived some kind of dangerous fantasy, this extreme disenchantment through pain is the means, and possibly the only means, of extricating it from him. Okay? It is possible that this is what happened to the founder of Christianity when suspended from the cross. for the bitterest words ever pronounced, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" if understood in their deepest sense, as they ought to be understood, contain the evidence of a complete disillusionment and enlightenment in regard to the deceptions of life. And in that moment of supreme suffering, Christ obtained a clear insight into himself, just as in the poet's narrative did the poor dying Don Quixote. We're going to go back to that. The formidable tension of the intellect that wishes to hold its own against pain shows everything that one now looks upon in a new light. And the inexpressible charm of this new light, and I like that, inexpressible charm. It's inexpressible. The inexpressible charm of this new light is often powerful enough to withstand all the seductiveness of suicide. Wow. It withstands all the seductiveness of suicide, and to make the continuation of life seem very desirable to the sufferer. His mind scornfully turns to the warm and comfortable dream world in which the healthy man moves about thoughtlessly, and he thinks with contempt of the noblest and most cherished illusions in which he formerly indulged. Let me read that again. And he thinks with contempt of the noblest and most cherished illusions which he formerly indulged. He experiences delight in conjuring up this contempt as if from the depths of hell, and thus inflicting the bitterest sufferings upon his soul. It is by this counterpoise that he bears up against physical suffering. He feels that such a counterpoise is now essential. In one terrible moment of clear-sightedness, he says to himself, "Be for once thine own accuser and hangman. For once regard thy suffering as a punishment which thou hast inflicted on thyself. Enjoy the superiority as the judge, and better still, enjoy thine own will and pleasure, thy tyrannical arbitrariness." I love this. "Raise thyself above life as above thy suffering, and look down into the depths of reason and unreason." Here we go. Our pride revolts as it never did before. It experiences an incomparable charm in defending life against such a tyrant as suffering, and against all insinuations of this tyrant, who would fain urge us to give evidence against life. We are taking the part of life in the face of this tyrant. In this state of mind, we take up a bitter stand against all pessimism in order that it may not appear to be a consequence of our condition. I love that. And thus humiliate us as the conquered ones. You will not defeat me. That's my words. The charm of being just in our judgments was also never greater than now. For now this justice is a triumph over ourselves, and over so irritated a state of mind that unfairness of judgment might be excused. But we will not be excused. It is now, if ever, that we wish to show that we need no excuse. We pass through downright orgies of pride. And here's the final stanza. And now appears to be the first ray of relief, of recovery. And one of its first effects is that we turn against the preponderance of our pride. We call ourselves foolish and vain, as if we had undergone some unique experience. We humiliate ungratefully this all-powerful pride, the aid of which enabled us to endure the pain we suffered. We call vehemently for some antidote for this pride. We wish to become strangers to ourselves and to be freed from our own person after pain. I'm sorry. I'll read that again. We wish to become strangers to ourselves and to be freed from our own person after pain has forcibly made us personal too long. Away with this pride, we cry. It was only another illness and convolution. Once more we look longingly at men and nature and recollect with a sorrowful smile that now since the veil has fallen, we regard many things concerning them in a new and different light. But we are refreshed once more, seeing the things and through things. We do not get angry when we see the charms of health resume their play, and we contemplate the sight as if transformed, gently and still fatigued. In this state, we cannot listen to music without weeping. I don't know what to say. I get goosebumps at that last line. He's describing things that are very hard to describe. And what it is, when I read this, I've always thought, and I think we all think this, which is why I'm not going to read that again. I think this is something to read over and over again. I'm going to keep going back to this. I've always wondered what it's like if I got a terminal illness or somebody really close to me right now would croak, like immediate, like out of nowhere, or some freak. Like, how do my character type, deal with suffering? I always assumed it was what he just wrote, and I'm never able to write it down in essay form. Not like that. That guy. There's not one word in there that's not there for a reason. The idea of us using our pride to deal with suffering is eventually even that's cast off. And the old like middle finger up to the whole thing. The one line I really like in here is, this is the one I marked. In this state of mind, we take up a bitter stand against all pessimism in order that it may not appear to be a consequence of our condition, and thus humiliate us as conquered ones. Like if I knew I was going to croak of cancer in a year, this book you can get on Amazon, Dawn of Day. There's the cover. Now it's very small print. If you want to get a bigger print, it's very small print. It's like tiny, tiny print. It's a cheap copy. Dealing with suffering on that level, I would never want it to ruin my day. I mean, if I only have a year left or a month left or 2 months left, yeah, you're right. He already wrote the essay. I don't need to read that. Now, if I ever need to express that, I'll just direct people to that. That is the most punk rock attitude to dealing with suffering I've ever read. You don't want the illness to be your cause of your pessimism of anything. I would try to find something to keep me rolling. I love that he's just like, it even stops the suicide thing. It's like, yeah, that's the easy way out. The tempo, dude, this man, Nietzsche was an artist, in the true sense. He was a word artist who was able to express some things no one else was able to come close to. I'm a big fan. I've become a big fan of his writing. I never realized of how much I would like his stuff until the last few years. I will read all of his works. I'm about halfway through them all, or a quarter of the way through. Showing your age. I don't know, what was the show of the age? Alex said. I'm curious. Alex said up here, there's a scientific study linking sensory deprivation or sensory overload to spiritual religious experience. Yes, I've read many books on the subject. There's a great book by Matthew Alper called God Part of the Brain. Excellent. I did a show on it, I believe, a year or so ago. God Part of the Brain, Matthew Alper. Neurotheology is the branch of science now, they're calling it. Very interesting. I don't know. Friedrich Nietzsche, folks. He was able to. I put him in an early. He's an amazing psychologist. He's able to like explain some things that I've never seen anybody explain. So here's the problem that Nietzsche had with Socrates that I didn't realize. Nietzsche called it the Hinterwelt. And here's what the Hinterwelt is. It's the idea that this is not the real world. Now, Plato had his thing called the Forms, which ultimately started through... Yeah, whenever we say Socrates, we're actually referring to Plato, because Socrates didn't write anything. Plato did. I actually liked the Xenophon stuff a lot more than the Plato stuff. Well, okay, wow, this is going to get good. Francis Ann, let me get back to this thing on suffering. Oh my God, there's so much in here to talk about. So let me write this down. I'm going to talk about the Hinterwelt. Hold on, so I don't forget. Hinterwelt, and then suffering as a good. Suffering as a good. I'm going to write enjoying it. Okay. Enjoying suffering. I'm going to talk about it. And I'm not talking about it from a Catholic point of view. Enjoying suffering. I'm going to talk about it from a Stoic point of view of sorts. So, Hinterwelt is this. Plato's Forms claim, it's not a claim, I don't know what to call it, but his concept is that this isn't the reality. The idea of what everything is the reality. For instance, you could, where's my lighter? So here's a lighter. It's plastic. It's got a flint with a wheel. So there's a wheel. There's a flat thing. There's gas. When I hit the button, the gas squirts out. When I hit the flint and the button, the flint spark hits the gas at the right moment. It's a simple invention. It really is great. And you can do this too. You can take the flame, make it invisible, throw it, and see if you can catch it. So anywho, now here's the thing. You can destroy every lighter in the world. All of them. As long as someone knows what a lighter is, its qualities, you can make lighters. Which means the design of it is more real than the real. That's what Plato's Forms is. You can get rid of all triangles, but as long as you know three equal sides coming together, blah, 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 triangles exist. So he's saying the concept is the reality, not the actual object. Fast forward 300 years, we get the Jesus story. And I call it the Jesus story because I do believe Jesus wasn't a real person. I think he was an idea that was plopped into historical context. Ooh, this looks good. Suffering should be creative and give birth to something good and lovely. I love that. Very cool. You guys got to read the tech. We have a really good chat in here. So anyway, the Hinterwelt is referring to that land of forms, but it's also referring to heaven. I've heard so many people say that when someone dies, but they've gone to a better place. What do you mean better? What the hell does that mean? Better? Better than what? Oh, there's no suffering. Okay. Well, Nietzsche thought this was bad. This was the beginning of the bad. This is the beginning of us losing some values that aren't so good. And so he blamed Socrates for the beginning of it, of it being serious. I get it. I get what he's saying. I like Socrates because of his examinations of reality are pretty profound. I mean, Plato's cave analogy is great. Oh my God, Zippo equals God. Yeah. So that was what he thought of as a problem And I see what that means. Yeah, exactly. Well, me too. That's what I do. You're on my boat. That's what I do, Alex. He wrote, "That's why I mix Socrates with hard materialism." Well, if you think about it, Nietzsche did too. Nietzsche used to crap all over the Stoics, but yet he did hold a lot of their tenets inside of his works. And one of them is what Francis Anne wrote: "Suffering has always been sort of a mystery to me. Whoever can conquer suffering and cope with pain is a powerful person." Yeah, I would agree. But there's some caveats to this. Suffering is a part of life. We should find ways to uplift ourselves from it, as hard as it might be. That's the struggle. I agree, but I would use different wording. I wouldn't say uplift ourselves from it. I would say we need to learn how to ride it, to sit on that saddle and ride the ass all the way. Ride the horse, ride the lightning of suffering. Now, to me, that's what that essay is I wrote. It's also the beginning of something Nietzsche called eternal reoccurrence. And I did a show on it because it's a little bit of a hard concept to understand. He wrote one of the most beautiful essays. I forget what book it's in. It's either Gay Science or Human All Too Human. Anywho, it's about eternal reoccurrence. And that is, I believe it's a thought experiment. It's not reality. But when you die, your life starts over. Everything. You're on repeat. Your life that you're making right now, actually, you've done it before, and you're going to do it again. You're a CD. You're a robot. You're a CD. So all the good stuff that happened is going to happen. All those first loves, all of the first time you got to see your favorite movie, the first time, you graduating, whatever, middle school, high school, your prom night, all of it. But you also have to relive all the bad, all the suffering, grandma dying, you're going to sit there again. Your breakup that killed you, you're going to go through it again. Now, what does that do? Well, in the moment of our riding this wave, it makes you see it a little different with a different set of glasses. At least it does for me. It makes everything pretty important. And it makes the suffering. So for the good stuff, it's easy. The bad stuff's hard. And I like it for the bad stuff because, like the Stoic notion, when the bad stuff's happening, you look it in the eye and you say, yeah, this is bad. I'm in pain. I'm sad. But I can handle it. Not only can I handle it, I can handle more. Let's see. You know when they say when it rains, it pours? Well, it always does. And so get ready, because when bad stuff happens, you're going to get more and more. And it's either deal with it or you don't. So you might as well take it by the reins and ride the lightning. And I don't like to use the word enjoy your suffering, but I like the words feel it. Because that stimulation, that surge, that adrenaline, it's the same thing you get when you ride a roller coaster or you see a horror film. It's a thrill of sorts. And so, I love this. Here we go. Somebody, all right, William's being honest here. I like this. Would you like to hear my funny conspiracy theory about Jesus? Yes, I would. I fought and still fight my illness with rage. Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, you can get mad. You can really push through it. It's more of a troll conspiracy theory. Okay, I don't know what that means, but fill me in. I'd like to hear. I love it. William Nemeth says, I was raging earlier today. Sometimes you need to get it out and let it pass to get serious and get things done. Well, that's what cursing is. Mr. Rogers used to teach that. Go bang on the piano. Francis Ann says, the Catholic view of suffering is strange. My Nona used to say that the more you suffer, the closer you are to God. Well, that's what Mother Teresa used to say to the kids because she didn't give them medicine, which sounds very sadistic. It's funny because in my youth, I would hear that saying, suffering brings you closer to God. And when I heard Mother Teresa would say that to the suffering children and then not give them pain meds, yes, I see that as a sadistic thing. It's terrible. The kids have your value, so why are you putting it on them? Give them the pain meds and be done with it. But I get what she means. I just don't use the word God. Suffering brings you closer to yourself. That's who God is. It's you. You're your own God, at least in my world. And so that suffering to me, anytime I've suffered, it brings me closer to me, the real truth, which is God ultimately. So it's funny, I agree with her in very indirect manner, because our interpretation of God is very different. Hers is an outside source. Mine is an inside source. It's me. Mother Teresa was a sadist. She could have ended a lot of suffering, but chose not to. Right. But I do agree with her that it brings you closer to God because, I'm an atheist, but my God ultimately is me. So, in that weird way, I philosophically can agree with her because of our definitions are very different. I'm a big guy on definitions. That's why I don't use the word God or energy or I can go on. I don't use a lot of words in my daily life. I got rid of them. They're too loaded. Now, if I do use the word or somebody is using the word around me, I want to hear their interpretation of that word. A lot of arguing I see people doing online, especially political arguing, is A, their value judgments. B, they're using different definitions. They're never going to get along. It's never going to happen. I don't know why people even bother saying anything politically anymore. It's pointless. It is pointless. Their value judgments mixed with wrong definitions. It's like the Supreme Court stuff too. Like, I did a lot of research on it, and a lot of people don't know the actual technical details of it. I was shocked because I didn't know. I might do a show on that, the technical details of the Supreme Court. I didn't know. It's kind of fascinating. And so people are screaming and yelling, but yet they don't understand some of the technical details of what this all means. It's very interesting. Folks, I am out of breath. That was a meaty show, in my opinion. Yeah. I hope this was a fun show. It was for me. I really enjoy talking about this stuff because I don't understand it all the time, and I'm learning it with you. I'm a student. I'm a big student. I ain't no master. I ain't no expert. I'm just a student with a lot of questions, and I try not to tell anybody that my value, like what I just said, I'm my own God. I don't expect anybody to adopt that as their own way at all, actually. I think that idea for some people is damaging. It is. It'll hurt them. Their heads will explode. It's not going to work. So this is me figuring out my life, and if somebody can get something out of it or show me something new, or I can show them something new, dude, that's the greatest thing in the world. Really, that's all it is. I'm having fun learning. I'm learning things that are pretty complex about the nature of our reality. And I always say this. I said it in my essay the other day. My favorite thing to do is to literally sit and talk to a friend about the nature of reality, and it never gets offensive, and they don't say anything I'm not offended by anything like that, and I don't, and the people that I like as friends are not offended if I say something that goes against their value. They don't take it personal. So, folks, wow. I mean, Fallon, thank you very much. I mean, tonight was great. Get the book. I mean, dude, get ready. Daryl, get ready. It's not easy. You're going to go slow, but it's going to be a fun slow. Get a pencil. If you look at my books, they're all marked up. Look, there's markings through every page. Lots of them. Some of them, it's like heavily marked. Read with a pencil. Write things you don't understand. Go back. Pretend like you're in school again. But this time, you're going to have a different approach to this stuff. I think you're going to like it. Wow. Kathleen, Fallon, thank you from the bottom of my heart too for watching and giving me, I mean, the fact that there's people listening that care and we go back and forth. I mean, you guys stimulate me. You really do. I mean, I'm learning from you guys too. Thank you, William. Yeah. So, folks, maybe by next week I'll hit the 1,000 mark. I don't know. I only need 40 people. And next week you're going to get to watch me eat this stuff live on TV thanks to Paul Sherman. Thank you, Paul Sherman, very much. I don't know if you're watching. Please watch next week, Paul Sherman. I can't wait to try this. William, thank you. I'm going to take us out with the outro, and then I'm going to go eat. I'm hungry. I didn't eat yet. And then I got to work on getting a new stereo or fixing mine. If anybody knows anything about powerful stereo receivers that can power all my crap and I can play it on 11, shoot me a line. Yes, Alex, one day we can pick each other's brains. Yeah. I love talking about reality or the nature of it or what I think it is. All right, everybody. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I had a blast tonight. So I'm going to take us out. And yeah, I'll see you next week, next Monday. Ruth, thank you very much. No, thank you, Ruth. And I look forward to hanging out with you guys and brainstorming. Anybody watching, hit that like, hit the subscribe. There is a donation thing underneath. I'm not here to hustle money, even though it would be great to monetize this channel one day, but that's not why I'm here. They are upside down, always. That means something. You guys like detail, which is why I like my audience. Folks, you guys are great. I'm taking you out. Let's go. Bye-bye.